Council of 10, seat number 6.
What?
I challenge you to a food war.
Wait, why? What happened?
You completely cleaned out the Sandwich Club storeroom.
When did I do that? And what the hell is Sandwich Club?
What do you mean, what the hell is Sandwich Club? You're literally in it.
Nope. Doesn't sound like me at all.
You're literally eating a sandwich that I made you in Sandwich Club.
Nope. Dan made me this.
Dan isn't even in this episode.
Then how did he make me this delicious sandwich? Besides, can't clean out a storeroom of ingredients if you don't know how to cook. But I'll accept your food war challenge regardless. I'm feeling violent today.
What do you mean you can't cook? You cook literally all the time.
I think you might be imagining things.
How did you get on the council then? How did you even get into the school?
I'm extremely persuasive.
Welcome to Gate Crashers, a podcast dedicated to kicking open the door to your next favorite thing. Our mission, our creed, our code is this: to make all things more approachable and accessible to everyone. We want you to find a universe that you'll fall in love with. My name's Patrick, and I use he, him pronouns.
And my name's Amanda, and I use she, her pronouns. Today we'll be talking about the first season of the anime Food Wars, also called Shokugeki no Soma, complete at 5 seasons for a total of 86 episodes with 5 OVAs. Food Wars follows Soma Yukihira, a rising first year whose dream is to take over his family's Japanese eatery. But when his father suddenly takes off to travel the globe, he encourages Soma to enroll in Tokyo's prestigious Tohtsuki... Wait. Pat, how do I say that?
Tohtsuki?
Tohtsuki.
Yeah.
I looked at it for too long and then I went, wait.
Yeah.
Tohtsuki Culinary Academy. There he meets and competes with elite teenage chefs with expertise from around the world, hoping to become Totsuki's top student.
Yeah, created by Yuto Tsukada and Shun Saiki, Food Wars was serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump starting in November 2012 and was later compiled into 36 tankobon starting in April 2013. These volumes in turn were licensed to Viz Media, who began printing English volumes in August 2014. The anime adaptation was produced by JC Staff, with the first plate, or season, premiering in Japan in April 2015. The dub was later released on a number of different platforms, more on that later. The final episode aired in Japan in 2020. There's also 4 light novels in total, and a spin-off manga series comprising 8 volumes that follows one of Totsuki's graduates, Kojiro Shinomiya, whom you'll meet in the first season of the anime. Because people love a pink-haired jerk.
It's true. We do love a pink-haired jerk. I loved him immediately, and I also hated him.
As you should.
So yeah, some themes that Food Wars explores, on top of just being about food. There's a lot of talk about legacy, prodigies and prodigals, high society establishments versus small town family establishments, the value of hard work, real life experience and believing in yourself, the innate power of the senses, and achieving the pinnacle of your art through, various means, and, just having a good old time.
Yeah.
Because food is good.
Food is good, that is true. So there are plenty of people who would like this anime, and that includes anyone who gets real jazzed about the Food Network, especially if you love the competition shows like Iron Chef and Chopped. Believers in the power of friendship, of course, would love an anime like this. Common theme for all
of the anime we love.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, anyone who's a little bit or a lot of bit obsessed with the way Studio Ghibli animates their food, or just animated food in general, and also people who have maybe a bit too strong of a reaction when something is quite delicious.
This shit gets etchy. I'm sorry, but the fan service is funny.
It is, but don't watch it around your parents.
Or if you are going to watch it around your parents, make sure you're laughing at it. Otherwise, it just gets weird.
Yeah.
So you can get all 36 volumes of the manga anywhere you buy books. This also includes the light novels and the spin-off manga. You can also read it digitally on the Shonen Jump and Viz manga apps. As for the anime, it's annoyingly split up between several different streaming services for absolutely no reason, because licensing, I guess. I'll never understand. Season 1 is available in sub and dub on Hulu and HiDive. Subs and dubs of Season 2 are available on Netflix and HiDive. Crunchyroll has Seasons 3 and 5 subbed, and 4 subbed and dubbed, along with subs of the OVAs. And you can stream the dub of Season 5 on HBO Max. These are all with paid subscriptions, and it makes no sense whatsoever.
Not
we are in a real haiku pickle here.
Yeah.
The Googling we had to do to figure this out was obnoxious. But thankfully, the entire dub was handled by Sentai Filmworks, so the English language cast remains consistent regardless of which streaming service you're watching it on, so you're not gonna have like a weird 4 kids situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and only one dub exists of the show. Yeah, and it's definitely one of those things, I think, just real quick, before we move on, it's one of those things I think where the anime is actually a lot more popular in the US, I think, than it was in Japan. And so, from the Japanese side, I don't think they cared as much about consistency as it got to American audiences, because it was just kind of, a thing they were passing on. But yeah, if you wanted to, Hulu Season 1, Netflix Season 2, if you're trying to watch dubs, you can't watch Season 3. The dub does not exist anywhere on the internet. We've looked extensively. And
if you can find it, please, for the love of God, tweet it at me.
Yes, please tweet it at Amanda, because I watched it when it was on Toonami. I recorded it every week so I could watch it. And then, Season 4, Crunchyroll, Season 5, HBO Max. You're just going to have to hit up all of the streaming services season to season, and also create a new streaming service for Season 3, I guess. So anyway.
Because the modern media landscape hates us.
It's a hellscape.
Moving on.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched the first slate, or if you have never even looked at Food Wars, I suggest doing that first, and then coming back, so that we can talk about the nonsense that is this anime.
Yes.
I would like to start off by saying, manga readers, we don't go here. I'm so sorry.
Nothing against you. We just didn't.
Nothing against you. I just didn't. I'm already a disgrace because I couldn't finish the entire series before we recorded.
It was probably fine because I did not realize Season 3 was not available anywhere dubbed. You would have watched Season 1 and 2 dubbed, and then not been able to find Season 3, and it would have been a whole thing. So it was probably fine.
I mean, I'm Jared, I'm 19, I never learned how to read. No, I mean, I watched the entirety of Haikyuu Season 4, subbed before the dub came out. So I can do it. It takes so much brain to do after work to then read some more.
Yeah, to then write coherent notes so that we can have a podcast episode about it.
But here we are. We did it. And honestly, Season 1 is the longest season, so...
Yeah, only downhill from here.
We got 24 episodes of knowledge. And It's honestly laughable that I'm gonna be going so hard over a food anime, considering my cooking track record.
Yes.
My cooking skills are serviceable at best. Just ask Patrick.
They'll keep her alive. That is all you need to keep you alive. But no Tohtsuki student is Amanda, for sure.
No.
Yeah.
A Tohtsuki student, I am not.
Yeah, I am a little bit,
and yet,
but not nearly. My sister's was a culinary major, so I can't even begin to pretend like I know what I'm doing, because I don't. Because my sister will say things, and I'll be like, oh, I guess that's a thing. And that is something that happened repeatedly in this show. They do something, and I was like, neat. I didn't know that was a thing.
I'm intimately aware that cooking is a science, and I don't understand science, so I don't understand cooking. So
Math got in the way.
Despite this, I'm still the person who yells at contestants on Chopped for trying to make a risotto in the appetizer round, because you cannot make a good risotto in 20 minutes. At least I know that.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But clearly, the people on Chopped
yeah, it's every time.
are just gonna do it.
Every time they I was like, oh, I just took this ingredient that's supposed to be a star and put it into the sauce. No! Why? You're gonna fail every time to go, well, you didn't make it a star, you know? It's...
You just blended it up and put it in a sauce.
Yeah. So the Food Wars, the eponymous event is a competition that they have, and really kind of can be between any chef, but largely between the students at Tohtsuki, and it's literally Iron Chef or Beat Bobby Flay, Chopped, any of those kind of competitions. It can take any form of that. Iron Chef, notably, is originally from Japan. Japan loves competition cooking. And if anybody...
Masaharu Morimoto.
Yes, the king at everything he does. And then he was on Iron Chef America, too, which was great. But if you, grew up watching Iron Chef like I did, because I'm a weirdo...
if you're a filthy millennial...
Yeah. You probably saw a lot of Alton Brown-led Iron Chef America. Really great show. Iron Chef, the original Iron Chef from Japan, was insane. It was highly ritualized. The chairman
the chairman.
I distinctly remember...
My guy.
I distinctly remember him in some promo clip shattering a wine glass in his hand.
Yes.
And he would bite into the side of, was it a bell pepper?
He would literally take whatever. If he could bite it, he would bite it. But I think it was usually a bell pepper.
Which is, it's insane. I think in Iron Chef America, he, eats an apple. A regular, normal thing to bite into the side of. Even, and that's not, a Western versus Japan thing. It was, he bit into this bell pepper to be crazy. And that level...
I mean, the chairman is all about pomp and circumstance, and it's all of that is emulated in this show.
Absolutely, yeah. The level of crazy, insane culinary competitions, this is exactly the level we get here. Especially in the later seasons, not to spoil too much, in the later seasons, it only keeps ratcheting up each season. It gets crazier and crazier.
I can only imagine. You have to keep one-upping each successive season.
Yeah.
That is the only way something like this works, because the entire premise itself is extremely simple.
Oh yeah.
It really just combines food television procedure and shonen anime formula, but it's shonen, but make it food.
Yeah.
That's literally what this show is. It's not complicated. It's not fancy. It's just ostentatious.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it, that it's just so outwardly ridiculous.
Yeah. And it's especially crazy because it's the quote unquote the regular world, right? It's not like Full Metal Alchemist, where there are all the, there are the alchemists and there's these magic and all this other stuff going on with different countries. This is they're in Tokyo. It's regular time. They talk about...
And it's also It's also not even like a sports anime, for example.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, okay. I'm sure some circles you could argue that cooking is a sport, but it's not like a typical sports anime either, where at least like so much of the tension and the action comes from the act of a sporting event.
Yeah, and it's
bitches are just cooking.
Yeah, but it's like the world is really crazy because and like people love food. Obviously, there's whole like, there's a Food Network. People love going to restaurants. It was like during the height of the pandemic, one of the things that people got upset about was they couldn't go to restaurants. All that kind of stuff. And I love food. I am an unabashed foodie. I spend way too much money on food. But food in the world of Food Wars is like a whole other level. It's like in Fullmetal Alchemist, where like alchemy was like the power source. Food is the power source in this world. Like the Tohtsuki Academy, the Nakiri family that leads it, they have their power in the world because of food. And they're in a later season, there's like a coup, not just at the school, but in the entire Japanese restaurant industry. Because it's this like crazy political hierarchy based on the power food has. And there are literally a couple people in the show who have magic powers associated with food.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's just insane. It is the best idea. It's so good taking... You want to look at all this pretty food and all this cooking and also power of friendship shown in anime and also crazy world, and it just comes together and takes like that simple idea and makes it a real ride, real fun time to watch.
Yeah, I remember when I was like, Pat, let's do Food Wars for Anime August, you were like, oh, Food Wars is the one where like the people are basically like having orgasms about their food, right? And I was just like, and? Yeah, you will very quickly... That sounds normal.
You will very quickly... I think it's within the first 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. In the first 5 minutes, like, there is some disturbing tentacle imagery.
Yes. Yes. Because Soma loves...
People will get fully naked, and you get a... There's no way to describe how heinous it probably is to people who are not used to fan service in anime.
Yeah.
The Food Wars actually got a lot of flack in critical reception because of how obnoxious the fan service is. But also at this point in my anime life, I just go into anime assuming that I'm going to be served some fans.
Yeah, it's...
in some way.
It is a lot. And especially when I remember when I started watching, because it came up on Toonami, like the new Midnight Toonami block or whatever. And I was like, oh, cool, a cooking anime, that looks neat. And then I watched the first episode and I was like, oh. Okay. But it's really, so it's a lot. And the first season is really going to make, it doesn't give a good picture of it, because actually as the seasons progress, it's not just lots of women doing it and like lots of focus on big boobs and stuff. There's a lot of guys and males in later seasons. Oh, yeah. In particular, that it starts happening to as well, and it's just as sexual, So it's it's fan service, questionable whether things about it, but at least they start to get a little bit more gender equal about it. It's not a 50-50 split, but it's nice that it's not just girls if you're gonna do it.
If fan service in anime upsets you, this is probably not the one for you.
Probably not. But what's nice about it is it's not just fan service. The story is really engaging. I learned a ton of stuff about food watching it, like about culinary stuff and especially Eastern food, Chinese, Japanese, Indian food that I didn't know that much about. Because obviously a lot of what we watch on like Food Network is going to be mostly Italian and French and American and that kind of stuff. So it's nice to...
Sick of those European bitches.
Yeah, and there are there's still European cooking on there. One of the main guys is half Italian and cooks Italian food.
He's the exception.
Yeah. Well, and then there's a couple because there's also because Alice will cook European food too.
Alice is just weird, though.
She is just weird. Her whole thing is being weird. So weird food. But that's also another thing. Another thing that's really fun.
Everybody has their own special little specialty.
Yeah, it's great. Everybody's got their own thing. Soma, the main character, his whole thing is like Japanese, like small Japanese eatery. It's on like a side street. They have regulars all the time. It's like a little cafe, and it's his whole thing throughout the entire series. As he learns more and more about food, is given crazier and crazier challenges. All he does is keep making food that he would serve in his family's eatery, and it's like it's so consistent the whole time, and it's really cool that's like his specialty. And there's other people like Alice, who she makes like the insane scientific food.
Literally like. Alice is the Instagram queen.
Yeah, and then there's
she uses that gastro
whatever the fancy science shit. Like she uses like
the fancy science shit that uses the word gastro.
Yeah,
gastro.
She uses she cooks ice cream in liquid nitrogen. Shit like that, or freezes ice cream. You don't cook ice cream, whatever. You know what we mean. We aren't chefs. We don't know. But yeah, there's somebody who specializes in spice, somebody who...
Molecular gastronomy!
Yes. Did you just Google gastro food science?
I literally Googled gastro food science.
Amazing. Incredible. Molecular gastronomy. That is correct. That is it. But
she makes the kind of food that I would absolutely spend way too much money on just because it's cool.
And then not like that much. Probably.
And then probably not like that much, or be like, I could have gotten this for cheaper at 7-Eleven.
Yeah. So, anyway, but yeah, so it's really cool. Each person has their own thing. And it makes all of the different food wars happen. It helps shake them up because, like, who gets paired up. And the theme, then it makes it different because, like, what style, how are they going to incorporate their style and the ingredient? What cooking techniques are they going to use? And it actually becomes a plot point later about, like, everybody's specialized cooking techniques being, part of the power of food. Because some people have the ability to copy other people's techniques.
It's a jutsu.
Yeah. No, literally... Like Naruto Jutsu, you have cooking styles in Food Wars.
You have cooking jutsu!
Yeah, I literally have it. I think they actually make that joke at one point.
I mean, they make a lot of jokes.
It is very self-aware. It is a very self-aware anime.
It's a very memeable show.
It is.
It really just sets itself up for the memes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And like, gets real meta sometimes. And yeah. So
there is literally a line in like one of the last few episodes during the fucking tournament arc. There's literally a line where like the judges are arguing, and there's 5 judges, but only 3 of them have names or lines at all. And so like one of the other ones that like doesn't have a name like said something, and the main judge goes, "Oh, shut up, you minor character." The awareness in this show is so funny.
It's so good. Yeah.
Oh my god, but especially when they have moments where like some of the characters are self-aware and some of the characters are just not.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, Ishiki is literally always naked.
Always naked.
For no reason. He just is always naked. He walks around in an apron and nothing else, which I think is so funny.
Yeah, or is just farming in Justice Fundoshi.
Yeah, he's farming in a fucking Speedo, basically. And there's this scene where like everybody else in the dormitory is like, yeah, this is normal. And then you have Meat, and she's like, is nobody seeing this? Is this normal, or am I hallucinating?
Yeah. But the best part is that, like, Meat will say, is this normal? Meat who goes to class in a bikini. And she's just like, he's naked. That's weird, right?
Meat is the best example of this show's jiggle physics.
Yeah.
There's so much jiggle physics happening.
Yeah, and like season 1, both Meet and Erina, fully impossible bodies. Like,
oh yes,
like bodies do not work, boobs don't work like that. But I will say, an improvement as you go through the seasons is the bodies become slightly more realistic. Boobs don't really get smaller, but at least they get like more realistically shaped.
They get proportional.
Yeah, they look like they actually connect to the torso. But yeah, jiggle physics, 100%. And they also, will they also sometimes make the food jiggle too.
Oh, the souffle omelet!
Yeah, got that good bounce.
The souffle omelet was so. Every time Soma made one of those fucking omelets and it went on the plate, it would just be like boing.
Yeah. Yeah, the physics in general, it's really, so like the body, some of the bodies don't make any sense. The food is incredibly realistic.
Yeah.
They put their entire art budget into the food.
The whole budget's in the food.
And this food looks...
And the food and then the tits.
Yeah. The food looks so fucking good. Like, if you actually watched season 1 before going here, then you would know by now. It's really hard to watch this anime, like, in the middle of the night, because all you're going to want to do is eat another meal.
When I was watching the first few episodes, I had just finished dinner, and, like, I was like, I'm hungry again.
Yeah.
I want more food. I want that food.
Yeah. When I watched season 1, I went on a full rice bowl obsession. All I did was I wanted to eat rice bowls all the time because it's, first of all the food they make looks super good. But it's also not something that, like, isn't something that's just readily available. So that means you have to, like, put the effort into it to make it.
You have to, like, make it yourself.
Yeah. So I got really good at making basic rice bowls. But, so yeah, it could inspire you to make some food before it gets into the real crazy stuff that we'll talk about later. But,
I would also just, like, be eating food while watching it.
Oh, yeah. You just gotta have snacks ready. I do want to talk about how Food Wars compares to, like, a regular shonen, your run-of-the-mill shonen anime, if you will. And kind of like that structure, that has the traditional arcs and power of friendship.
I mean, it goes through the whole bit. We have the training arc. We have a tournament arc.
Yeah, filler episodes that are about, like...
Filler episodes.
Random characters.
Fucking... Oh, it's summer vacation. I'm gonna go back to the shop. And suddenly Soma is spending 3 episodes making fried chicken.
Yeah. Yeah, and just, yeah, a lot of... And Soma Naruto's people, and by that I mean he has an enemy, he beats the enemy, and then he becomes very good friends with the enemy, and now the enemy will literally die for him.
Oh my god.
Every single person that he ever comes in conflict with, by the end, he has power of friendship to him and on his team. I mean...
It's just so funny, though, because, Soma is a genuinely likable protagonist. Like, I do like him. I do want good things for him. But also, I am more interested in literally everyone and anyone else. Except for when his dad shows up.
Shoichiro is an incredible father. He is so good.
They really set you up to be like, yeah, this guy's kind of a deadbeat.
Yeah, they definitely do. Listen, listen, not to spoil anything, but when you get to season 5, you're gonna lose it. About his relationship with Joichiro and...
I am a slut for father-child relationships. I love them. They're my favorite dynamics. I love watching them unfold. And so every time I see a father-child dynamic, I'm like, what's that?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, so any of those of you guys who've only watched season 1 listening to this now, you're gonna think, like, Joichiro sent his son, he was doing fine, he was doing a great job at the eatery, he just sends him into literally the wolf's den to be...
Well, no, before he sends him into the wolf's den, he goes, okay, bye.
Oh yeah, he just disappears, doesn't even say...
He just leaves.
Doesn't even say bye, and says, go to this school that, mind you, has a 10% graduation rate, maybe, because it's so cutthroat. And, like, literally, there's somebody who gets thrown out for wearing cologne that is too strong. And, like, people get cut for...
He's trying to mask the scent of his bad food, Patrick.
Yeah. Like, insane things that people get kicked out for. And so he just sends him off to this school, and then he just, like, disappears, goes to a whole other country. And you're like, oh, he's not great. As you go through the seasons, and you realize that just sending someone off to, like, figure out who he is the best thing for him, was great. And then Joichiro comes back a couple of times, like, when he's needed, like, when it just happens that he's back when someone really needs that father-son talk, or when he needs to pass on plot-relevant information. You know, he's just always back right when he's needed. And then when you learn about Soma's childhood in the 5th season, everything, like, just all of a sudden makes sense why things are the way they are, and you realize that Joichiro needs Soma just as much as Soma needs Joichiro.
Nope. Goodbye. No, I'm not crying on the pod. I've done that enough.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. But yeah, so anyway, so Joichiro, great. But yeah, Soma's a great character. He's great. Soma is enjoyable, and he's great for moving, like, between the arcs. He's a great person to follow, and because it brings in all of these other people.
Because, like, I'm not worried about him ever.
Oh no,
at all.
You know he's gonna
like,
be fine.
I'm just like, you're the protagonist, and this is like a low angst situation.
Yeah.
So, like, you're gonna be fine. I'm more concerned about the people that I know for a fact aren't gonna make it on to the next round.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, the amount of anxiety I had from Megumi watching the first season.
Best girl!
Megumi is...
Listen, I jokingly say best girl about a lot of characters. Like, I say best girl about Power. Like, Power's great. I do enjoy Power from Chainsaw Man. She is not best girl for me. I just think she's fun and feral. Megumi is best girl. I would die for Megumi.
I really love... So Tohtsuki is just... It's like the pinnacle. Like, people get kicked out of Tohtsuki and get hired at really good restaurants because it's just that high level. So it feels...
Yeah, but like people get into Tohtsuki also a lot of the times from, like, connections.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, like, connections that, like, you kind of realize that Soma has.
Yeah.
But that Megumi absolutely does not.
So Megumi gets into Tohtsuki on her own merit from middle school. Soma joins at the beginning of high school, which is rare for Tohtsuki. But, so Megumi comes in on her own merits and is... It just...
Fails everything.
She just...
A disaster.
She, like, is able to get through middle school enough, but, like, lacks the self-confidence. And it's this nice, refreshing change where everybody will literally murder you about your chicken. And she is, like, the softest, kindest person who just needed to, you know, understand...
She's just a little farm girl.
Yeah, she understand that her rural in cooking style, regional cooking cuisine... It had its own value, even if it isn't, high-level French cuisine or, you know, the, very traditional soba from Kyoto or anything like that. Like, her small-town, coastal stuff for Megumi that's really, it could be her own style, and she just needed people telling her it was okay. And Soma, Megumi's like the first person he brings in kind of into his circle, and immediately she's able to realize, because Soma comes from a small family establishment, just like Megumi does, and is able to do all these things, beat all these top people in food wars, and beat them out in competitions and class and all that stuff. And she just...
Simply because he's more confident.
Yeah, that and...
and because he believes that he can.
And he's committed to who he is.
And he believes in her so much.
Soma looks at Megumi and realizes that she's one of the best chefs he's probably ever seen. And
it's not even just Soma. Like, it's so cute for, like, the rest of Kyokusei Dorm to be like, Megumi, you're the best of us. And she's just like, no.
Yeah, it's, and it really, and Megumi's one of two characters that I think has the best character arc. Because Soma starts off great and keeps getting greater. Megumi's arc to being, like, the top is one of the best character developments, and it's just I just love seeing people succeed, and so it's like it's really nice to see her grow and change. And when she in the, I don't even remember what tournament it is, but the fish,
the fall selection with the monkfish,
the fall selection where she takes a monkfish, if you
monkfish are fucking huge
and terrifying.
Aren't they anglerfish?
They are.
Or are anglerfish monkfish?
They're like a monkfish, or maybe like a adjacent family to anglerfish, but yeah, big and scary.
They're fucking creepy.
The Dig with the Light and Finding Nemo, like that kind of fish, and it's massive. And she, like, one of the things they do in her inn is that the chef would, like, butcher this fish as everybody watched. And Megumi learned how to do it so she could help her family at the inn.
Because it's also apparently an incredibly labor-intensive process to like, do.
And then, so for the fall selection, she wasn't sure what she was going to do. She was like, oh, I'm just going to lose in the first round. And then she all of a sudden has this inspiration looking at the academic success charm that her village gave her when she went. And has this inspiration to butcher this fish and use monkfish in the dish. And she just pulls out this fucking fish in the middle of the tournament and just starts butchering it. And it's
so cool!
Butchering a fish should not make me as emotional as this does.
I mean, what's good is that, like, nothing is icky. Like, it's not bloody gross. It's just like, don't say not yet. Don't do it! Don't do it to me!
Not yet.
Son of a bitch! In the first season, nothing is icky. Except for, like, the weird stalker girl making icky food.
Yeah, is that...
But, like, icky because it's smelly.
Is that... now... Is that...
Yes.
She's great. I love her because... She just makes, her whole thing is...
I just think she's hilarious.
Well, and she like,
she's
cooks in
so
her pot
funny.
like it's a witch's cauldron. But her specialty of cooking is food that smells bad, but tastes good.
Yeah. It's so funny.
And I love each person. You meet more and more people, you're like, they couldn't possibly come up with another food specialty.
Another weird gimmick.
And they do, every time. And every time I'm like, oh, that's incredible. I can't believe it.
I mean, there is someone who is just... meat. So...
Excuse you.
I know she's not just meat, but, like, it's meat.
Mito is a queen. I love her. She is the best.
Oh, I do. I also love her.
I know.
But, like...
But her specialty is meat.
when they get as simple as just, like, what's your specialty? Meat!
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
You can really only go up from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, like, I just... Generally, when I go into an anime, it's because I saw a character and I said, ooh, that one.
Yeah.
The day I saw Erina Nakiri, I said, ooh, that one.
Yes.
And if any of you have gazed upon Erina and thought the same, it's just very... She's not in the first season a lot, and it makes me sad.
Don't worry. She features more and more.
But I love her.
Yeah.
I love her dub and how they went full Silicon Valley princess. Erina!
Yes. Erina is one of the people with the superpowers. You know, she's the god tongue, which of course really plays into that fan service, but also
sommelier ass bitch.
Sommelier, but everything. Erina is great because she's a villain that's likable. You know, she's like the villain's not the right word. She's the antagonist of the first season because she does not like Soma.
But she doesn't like Soma because she doesn't want to admit that, like, food that isn't fancy pants tastes really good.
Yeah.
And I think that's really funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's really, like, the whole point of the fucking show. Like, Soma's out here like, bro, we don't need to cook fancy food with fancy ingredients to make good food. And, like, I respect that shit. But Erina is like, fuck you, no!
Yeah, and, like, the Nakiri family is the pinnacle, right, of the culinary establishment in Japan. What they say goes. And so to have somebody come in, just this punk off the street saying, yeah, just try my fried rice, you're gonna like it, is, like, blasphemous to her. That he would even suggest that. And it's so funny because right off the bat, the first dish of Soma's that she tries, immediately she loves it and cannot admit it to herself. And so, yeah, it's
she actually rejects his transfer application.
Which she can do as a freshman.
Which she can do as a freshman because she's that powerful. But, like, her grandfather is the principal, headmaster, owner, director of the school. And he's, like, being a little creep in the kitchen. And he, like, just goes and eats this leftover food, because I guess people do that. And he's like, no, overruled.
Yeah. Yeah, there's, Erina's grandfather is, he's got some machinations going on. There's clearly something happening with him. Not trying to get too spoilery about it, but,
I mean,
but Senzemon has some things that are happening.
It's very clear from the first season that this man is fucking weird, but he got some shit, which is just like with all of them, honestly.
But he cares about
like,
Erina.
All of them are deeply weird.
He cares about Erina so much.
I enjoy that, and I believe that.
Yeah, and it's great.
But yeah, Erina, I love her. I love her little Silicon Valley voice. I love how they like try and make her so like above everything, but she has like one friend. And her favorite thing to do is just like go play cards with Hisako.
Hisako, who is a queen. Also,
like, they just like Hisako is like, I love you, my queen, please step on me. And Erina is like, please, can we play cards?
Hisako.
It's so cute.
It is extremely cute. Hisako is really great as well. She's like Erina's only friend, but like Hisako's family has always been like servants for the Nakiri family.
Like in service to the Nakiris, yeah.
And so she is like assigned to Erina, but they also become like extremely close friends, which is I always love. And Hisako is also a fantastic chef in her own regard and like goes to the school. And even though she's like personal assistant to Erina, also, you know, goes to class, goes through the tournament and training arcs, Because apparently going to Tohtsuki means...
fucking kicks ass.
Yeah, apparently going to Tohtsuki means you have 100 hours every day. Because they have time for going to class, doing exams, training arcs, clubs, food wars, side hobbies like growing full fucking fields of vegetables, creating the perfect wood chips for smoking, making the perfect fermented products, whatever. And also somehow having enough time for all of them to get fucking ripped. Even though they're eating food all day.
I mean, Pat, I hate to break it to you, but, like, when we were in high school, we did so much. Like,
no, we did, and I don't understand how I did it.
When I was in high school, I would regularly wake up at, like, 5 a.m. for God knows why, after going to bed at, like, 3 a.m. for God knows why. I would go to class, I would stay after school to do fucking drama club. I had an after-school job that I went to 90% of the week. I also worked on the weekends, but I also spent hours and hours and hours hanging out at the mall for whatever reason. And then I also found time to, like, do other things. And now I'm just like, I work, and now I'm gonna watch some TV, and now I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah. I will say...
So I don't think that's that unrealistic.
No, I know, but, like, it's also just kind of like, how do they do it? I'm old now, so...
What's her secret?
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of people being fucking ripped, and or not, I think it's time we move on to the Aldini twins.
Ah, my babies! Ugh. Listen, Takumi showed up, and I was like, that's a little ice queen bitch. I love him. I love a cranky blonde.
Yeah. And then, yeah, his twin brother, who looks nothing like him, Isumi.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. In fact, it's a joke. They're like, wait, they're twins? Isumi has to be one of my favorite characters. First of all, he has two forms. He has his winter form and his summer form.
Okay, wait. Before we even go into winter form and summer form, there's a joke for many characters throughout that is just like, here's hair up form, here's hair down form, here's dark version, here's light version, like in reference to like being creepy and like being not creepy.
Yeah.
And then Isumi... has his winter and summer
both of Isumi's versions are light form. It's just one is skinny and one is fat. And first of all, I mean, skinny Isumi is fine. Fat Isumi is the best Isumi. He's great. He just, like, eats less food in the summer,
like,
I guess.
Even Isumi is like, fat me is the best me. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I will be back into my beautiful body soon. Yeah. But no, he was like, no, I just sweat a lot and I lose all the weight. And I'm like, what are you, a fucking bear?
Apparently, but yeah, the Aldini are great. So Aldini's half Italian, half Japanese, grew up in Italy, cooking at an Italian trattoria, and like since they were like 6, something like that. Like they like say, oh yeah,
there was a flashback.
In a flashback, they like talk. Yeah, we were working there for 8 years. I did the math, and I was like, wait a minute, that's child labor.
You did math?
Yeah, I subtracted. Yeah, I can handle that sometimes. But yeah, so anyways, Takumi and Isumi, they decide to send them to Tohtsuki. Well, actually, Tohtsuki says, why don't you send your kids here? And anyway, they go, and like both of their gimmick is they cook Italian food.
But the reason that they even sent them is because Takumi was like getting jaded and like just being sad, a sad little bean, and like they were like, oh no, we must save him, and Isumi is just like, I go wherever my brother goes.
Yeah. And then Soma, power of friendships them.
Makes a friend.
Well, first of all, Isumi immediately was like, well, I like you, you know. It's so when they first meet, it's in the training arc, right? And they're at the Tohtsuki-owned hotel with the crazy lady being there.
I love Hinako.
Yeah, Hinako, great. But they had to go, like, hunt for food and then bring it back and cook it. Anyway.
Literally hunt for food.
Literally.
Like, literally.
Yeah.
In the wild.
Yeah. So anyway, they come back and, like, they make this great dish with duck, the Aldinis, and then Megumi and Soma, like, team up and they go do their own thing, but Takumi and Soma decide they should have a competition about whose dish is best. Megumi and Isumi could care less. They're not here to fight. It's specifically Soma and Takumi. And of course, Megumi, being Megumi, is like very panicky about it. Isumi thinks it's the best thing. He thinks it's so funny. He equally parts wants to watch his brother beat Soma, and equal parts wants to watch his brother lose. I just love Isumi a lot. He's really great because he's so likable and he is so chill compared to everybody else.
Honestly, this is just another, like, show which I'm seeing becoming more and more of a thing, and I'm not sure if it's better writing or if I'm just, like, more tolerant of weirdos, but, like, this is just another show where I'm like, every single one of you, I love you. I care you. I would fight a subway rat for you.
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them, yeah. Because, like, Mimi, who we didn't even talk a lot about, is like the definition of a character. She does not need me to fight for her. Mimi can fight for herself.
But I would.
I would absolutely fight for her. And she's also, like, I eat meat, you know, but I'm not a huge meat person. Like, I don't eat meat all the time. And, like, you know, I can go...
I would if it wasn't so annoying to make.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's, like, too much effort for me. And, like, so, like, her whole thing with meat, I'm kind of like, okay, fine. But, the fact that her name is Mito and everybody calls her Meat is fucking hilarious.
So funny.
And
she's like, don't call me Meat, and points at Soma, except for you.
It ends up extending.
You can call me Meat.
And it ends up extending to the whole Kotsuki dorm. They all get to call her Meat. And it's... It's great. But I really love the idea of where she goes and she joins, or she fights Soma because she is on Erina's side. Erina's trying to shut down a bunch of clubs because they're not, you know, highbrow enough for her. And one of the ones they want to shut down is Rice Bowl Club, which is, it's a, because it's not high quality cuisine, you know, it's like the whole thing is
why we made Sandwich Club.
Which is why we made Sandwich Club, yes. It's, it's supposed to be, like, cheap and easy to get, and that's kind of the big point there, which is not the same as like, the highbrow stuff, because Erina ends up making food later at this competition where people come in and they pay, like, $150, like, per plate or something like that. Like, you know, insane kind of deal. And so anyway, Meat is fighting for Erina. She goes to take down Bolsock, or the Rice Bowl Society, and Soma's like, oh, I'm not gonna let that slide because it's the kind of cooking he does. But the stipulations are, if Soma loses, he gets expelled. If Meat loses, she has to join Rice Bowl Club. And of course, you know, Soma wins, as he would. And then Meat joins Rice Bowl Club and becomes obsessed with rice bowls.
But then also Soma doesn't even join Rice Bowl Club.
They're like, oh, you're in charge now. And he was like, no.
Nothing.
Yeah. And it's Meat is in charge now is what it is. And later they have this competition where everybody has to make a soup, and she makes a rice bowl themed soup. And Meat is the other character. Megumi has a great character arc. Meat has the other great character arc where by the end, it's so good. She's everybody's buddy. She wants to be friends with everybody. She's doing, like, secret intel for Soma and the rest of the Kyosuke dorm. Also, half of them decide, they don't actually, not all of them live in Kyosuke, but half of them basically live in Kyosuke because they're there and all of their free time.
It's the hub.
It is. This is a cool place to be. So cool, they try to shut it down more than once.
I mean, that's just the Glee part making its way into everything.
Glee, but make it cooking.
Glee, but cooking.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so yeah, Meat is I would die for Meat. With her American flag bikini.
This cast is just so good.
It really is.
So fun.
And
there are so many more characters that we could just talk forever about, honestly. And, like, I've only watched one season. they haven't even introduced everybody yet. And here I am being like, well, I like this one, and I like this one, and I like this one, and I like this one.
Yeah. Yeah, because we haven't even jumped into...
We haven't talked about Eyeliner Boy.
Yes, Rio.
We haven't talked about Curry Boy.
Akira. Yes, Akira. I think in season 2 you get Akira's backstory, and meh. Very, very emotional. Be excited.
I mean, you literally get a flashback with June where he's just a little street urchin.
Oh, okay. So that is in season. Today I kept texting Amanda. Is this in season 1? Is this in season 1? Because I don't. I watched season 1 and like I think it was probably March or April 2020. So it's all a blur.
It's all a blur.
Yeah. Believe.
Wait, but Pat.
Yeah.
You have to hit me with the crazy foods now.
I do. So first, real quick, I do want to talk about kind of one of the glaring things in the show. The food ethics, the biggest thing I have issue with. So in a later season, they do talk about there's one chef, Rindo, and she cooks like bizarre meats, but she stopped poachers, and like there's this big thing where they like kind of had the sting operation of children, teenagers, sting operation where they stop poachers, and so like they do kind of start to address it a little bit, but they have absolutely no qualms about like the ethics of any particular ingredient, just about like how the ingredient is like sourced. So like they don't mind eating things like shark fin, turtle, things along those lines. It's a little bit weird. In fact, there are some people who, like Rindo, who specialize in eating, or specialize in cooking, rather, the more ethically questionable food. So that's really the biggest thing I wanted to just bring up, because it's a little bit weird. Also, they do a lot of meat stuff. So if watching, where it comes from to going to the plate, seeing the animal and then the slab of meat freaks you out, it does get a little bit worse in later seasons, which we'll talk about here. So I do want to ask you first, Amanda, what do you think the craziest dish in season 1 was?
I mean, I have a pretty high tolerance for what I think, like, a crazy dish is. Like, there's not much that phases me. Like, there's definitely a lot of things that I'm like, I would never, ever put that in my mouth. But nothing that I thought was particularly crazy. Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna have to go with, like, I would never, ever, ever touch Megumi's curry from the tournament arc. If this bitch butchered that fish in front of me in real life, no. Nuh-uh. Mm-mm. I'm out.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Fair.
I don't want that.
Fair enough. Of course, the classic one that I would say, very classic Food Wars thing, is Soma's octopus in peanut butter, which of course he does to gross people out. So, like,
I would eat that. I would try that.
No, absolutely not.
That's not that weird.
I like octopus. No, absolutely not. I'm not doing it.
Putting like soft foods, like yogurt or peanut butter or honey or like anything of that consistency on other foods, not that weird to me.
No, can't do it. So anyway, but yeah, so the butchering of the monkfish and then making the monkfish kind of together is definitely something. I know a lot of people don't like fish when they can like see the eyes. Like that's the big thing, is I don't want to see its face, right? For a lot of people, that does not bother me. That doesn't bother me. I will say some of the things. So we're going to jump into the rest of the seasons real quick about some of the other crazy dishes. So spoilers if you don't want to hear. Some of this is because of the way that it gets prepared. So in season 2, I would say the craziest dish is actually Hisako's dish that she makes in a tournament arc, which is a soft shell turtle hamburger. And the biggest reason is because Hisako's food specialty, a little bit of a spoiler, is medicinal food.
Well, they put that in season
1. Oh, do they?
1.
Okay. So yeah. She makes medicinal food. Anyway, Hisako, in this tournament, takes out a live soft shell turtle and butchers it right there. And it is a bit bloody. Now, turtle soup used to be incredibly popular. That was the main way that Western cultures people ate turtle. But it got to the point where people loved turtle soup so much that it endangered like the diamondback terrapin populations in Maryland. But Maryland cuisine used to be like centered around turtle soup. But anyway, it was so damaging to the population because people liked it so much. There are now environmental protections that have make it illegal to harvest turtle. But they would eat just about any kind of turtle: diamondback terrapins, sea turtles, box turtles. People fucking ate all of it here in the U.S. and stuff. So it's not as much a weird to me because like I don't understand Eastern versus Western cuisine. It's mostly the fact that she kills it right there. But also because
oh yeah, that's absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Because like I said before, like you can tell me the wildest thing that you could come up with that you're like, yeah, I eat this, I'd be like, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
I regularly watch a YouTube channel where they eat like the weirdest shit they can find for fun, so
yeah,
it doesn't faze me.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's definitely the killing thing. In season 3, they have Akira and Soma have a battle where the main ingredient is bear meat, and so Akira makes chicken fried bear.
Can you eat bear? Is that allowed?
So
there are so many foods that, like, if you were to say, like, I can't believe they made this food, I'd be like, why?
Yeah.
What's wrong with it? Like, if I did not know from, like, just past context that you should not eat shark fin soup because of environmental things, I'd be like, what's wrong with it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely the ethics side versus, like, the it's bad for you side for shark fin soup. Bear is questionable. So Soma makes mincemeat cutlet out of bear, again, and Akira makes chicken fried bear. But bear is very rare as a thing to make. It is kind of like a delicacy in parts of China and Japan. Less so in Japan now than it used to be, but like Cantonese cuisine in China uses bear sometimes. It is a staple of Inuit diets in the far north. They'll eat polar bear, but there's also a lot less things to, live on to get enough sustenance up in the Arctic. So, in that instance, it feels a little bit, there's reason behind it. But in a lot of places like China and Japan, it's more so a delicacy. It's parts of the bear are fully toxic. Like the liver has so much vitamin A in it that it will kill you. And the meat has to be fully cooked in order to eliminate the risk from a parasitic infection that gives you trichinosis, which can be fatal in humans. So it's an insane thing to ask high schoolers to cook. Because it's like Soma, like the whole thing with Soma was like, I've never cooked bear before. Because like, why would he have? They make, fish in his eatery and like chicken.
Mom, can you pick me up? They're making bear meat.
Yeah. And it's also, it's a little off-putting, especially because it's like a particularly like emotional moment in the anime, and then they're like, yes, here's my bear dish, and I'm like, this is weird. Okay, so moving on, season 4, Rindo, she makes Laziji Cayman. So Cayman, of course, is a type of crocodilian. I mostly want to talk about this one. It's an unusual ingredient for Japan. Rindo's whole thing is unusual ingredients. Like in another dish, she uses like parts of like some chemicals from like an ant and to like tenderize her meat or something. So she does like weird stuff like that. But it is rare in Japan to eat something like Cayman. I mostly wanted to talk about it because alligator is actually pretty common in U.S. Southern cuisine, coming from the South. I've had alligator before. It is very tasty. It's one of those things that people will tell you tastes like chicken, and they're right, but it's like not as it doesn't dry out like chicken does. It's good. I've had it in tacos. I've had it on sandwiches. And in the U.S., you can only get alligator if it's you can only harvest alligator, if you will, if they grew up on a farm. So you can't go hunting for alligators in the wild. or not supposed to at least. So anyway, I want to bring that up. But she, does something crazy, and then she's competing against a bowl of African curry. It's actually a very interesting battle in a very large, very stressful tournament arc.
I just remembered what Rindo's character looks like, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, she I think her so for those who don't know him,
fully feral, has fangs.
Oh yeah, no, has a fang, one fang that sticks out over her lip. And she is usually in the fantasy scene, she's wearing like a leopard print, leopard skin across her boobs, that kind of deal.
Of course.
She also doesn't just look feral, she is fully feral. So you're gonna love her.
I mean, I can't wait, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh wait, she has the little Pikachu smile.
Yeah. She's great.
Oh,
she's super good, and she's pure chaos. She makes this major contributes to this major decision because she loves the chaos.
Guys, her name is Rindo Kobayashi. She has a little Pikachu smile. Fucking snake eyes.
Yeah.
Box-dyed red hair.
She's the one who stops the poachers too. So
I love her.
She just goes to the Amazon, stops poachers on spring break.
Immediately love her. Let's see if any figures of her are on sale.
I believe she is one of the ones with the bunny figure.
She is one of the ones with the bunny figure.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody.
We're
done.
So going back real quick, just looping back, we'll talk about season 5 in a second. When Amanda talks about Erina, about putting her eyes on Erina, she does not mean put her eyes on Erina in the show or in the manga. She means the figure of Erina.
Yeah, I saw a figure.
Amanda, for those of you who don't follow Amanda on Instagram or Twitter, Amanda is a big figure collector. And she's already looking. The show is good because Amanda's already looking for figures.
Listen, I see a cute figure, and I go, what's that from? Because my only rule is that I cannot buy a figure if I have not watched the show. The number of shows I have started watching simply for the excuse to buy the figure is not 0.
It's at least, 3 now, I think?
It's at least 3.
So anyway, the last dish I wanted to bring up from season 5, going us back on track, is a basti, which is part of the Japanese fusion cuisine called shippoku, which is from Nagasaki. This one's just fun, because first of all, it was crazy. So the theme of the competition that this was made for was you had to combine the 5 great culinary traditions of the world: Chinese, Italian, French, Indian, and Turkish. So those 5 cuisines had to be all represented in this dish. And so the shippoku cuisine is a fusion cuisine combining Japanese cuisine with a bunch of other cuisines. And it's from Nagasaki, which was the only port city for centuries that foreigners could trade and live in Japan, when Japan was isolationist. And so the cuisine that developed there was a combination of Dutch, Portuguese, Chinese, Japanese, and a bunch of other cuisines all together. But this dish is insane because it has this lattice crust over top of it. It's like a meat pie with this crazy lattice crust and has all of these different things combined together. But I just thought it was really cool. Season 5 has actually a lot of really rather normal dishes. It's not that long of a season either. But I just thought it was really cool because of the fusionness of it, but it's a purely something you can only get in Nagasaki. It's not like a fusion cuisine. It's not like Asian Latin fusion that you can get in a bunch of different places. It's only in Nagasaki that you can get this. And that's one of the cool things about Food Wars in general is you explore not just you're not just looking at sushi and soba and ramen and rice bowls, the hallmarks that most Americans think about when it comes to Japanese cuisine. But also, the food of Hokkaido, the food of Nagasaki, the, Megumi's small fishing village, all of these smaller things, food of Kyoto, and all of these other traditions about how, because the Japanese cuisine is very rich and diverse, and it isn't just, rice with fish on top like a lot of people think about. So it is really cool to kind of, to explore that through the show. Like I said, you can learn a whole bunch about it. Also really cool, the fandom wiki for Food Wars, so on fandom.com. The folks who are pulling that one together are on a whole other level, because the articles have the articles on the recipe where they talk about what ingredients are in it, give real world facts about these dishes, and culinary and scientific information about the ingredients. Like, they spent way too much time on this, and it's really cool. I love looking things up like that. And yeah, it's really cool that they include that all here. So it's yeah. So anyway, that's it's cool to kind of as a company as you continue watching the other seasons, which I definitely recommend because it gets to be a lot of fun. Some of the later seasons are like season 1's great. Some of the later seasons are even better.
Listen, something that I suggest you do while watching is to take a shot every time somebody says depth of flavor. If you want to have a good time.
Absolutely not. You will get alcohol poisoning. That is a bad idea. They say it literally like 6 times an episode.
A judge said it 3 times in one sentence. And I was like, bro, please.
Yes, but of course they had to say it in the various points of their orgasmic voice, obviously.
Of course! Woo!
Yeah.
Ah, man.
Yeah.
I think I'm Food Wars out.
Yeah, I need to go cook something, I think.
I need to go eat.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna go make...
And we don't even have the visual medium.
Yeah. I'm gonna go make a rice bowl.
Nice! Alrighty, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me and Patrick while we talked about Food Wars. Make sure to take a look at all of our Gatecrashers social media. You can find us pretty much everywhere, including TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, probably other social media platforms that exist now, but that I'm not on because I'm 29 and I'm tired, at Gatecrashers Pod. And you can also check out our website at gatecrashers.fam. And come say hi.
Yeah.
Come take a look at what we've got cooking.
Yeah, and be sure to check out our
Anime August is still happening, bros.
Yeah, be sure to check out the rest of our Anime August content. We have both podcast episodes and articles, and so definitely check it out.
And also short form content. So get on TikTok.
Yeah, become addicted like we are.
Oh. Alrighty, bye.
Bye.
It's the Gatecrashers.